Hello everybody on YouTube, I'm Xaldin Wolfgang, also known as Master100, known as the Master of all Spellcasters. Man, Star vs. really did a pretty good job with Season 3, but however, not every season is going to be perfect. There are going to be some duds. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do a top and bottom 5 for this season. Now keep bear in mind, this is all based on my opinion on how I feel about these episodes. If you happen to have the exact opposite opinion on these episodes, that's perfectly fine. Now, without any further delays, let's start off with Number 5, Top, Moon the Undaunted. What a way to start off the season, showing the backstory of Queen Moon and seeing how she defeated Toffee. By making a deal with Queen Eclipse to learn a spell to defeat Toffee since he can't be destroyed, I also like how each of the characters interact with each other. Overall, great way to start the season off. Number 5, Bottom, the Bog Beast of Bogaba. This episode was just nothing but filler. We see nothing more than just Star getting annoyed by her dad, and the twist was that she was the Bog Beast, but at least it's not as bad as the bottom 4. Number 4, Top, Lava Lake Beach. This showed Marco at his best, trying to help Kelly with her problem with her ex, even though he couldn't accept that it's over. I also love the chemistry between Marco and Kelly. I think they would make a great couple. I ship them. Hashtag Kelly Marco. Number 4, Bottom, Ponymonium. This episode was just meh for me, starring one of my least favorite characters of the show, Ponyhead, and we also see her sisters who show how completely insane they are. But there was one scene that made me laugh a little, but that's it. Number 4, Top, Total Eclipse of the Moon. Never thought seeing both Queen Moon and Eclipse interacting with each other would be such an interesting episode. We see both Moon and Eclipse having interesting chemistry with each other, and the little song that Eclipse sang was really nice. And we get to see a big mystery to the butterfly family name. Number 3, Top, Toffee. Not just talking about the character, but the episode itself. In this episode, Toffee puts his final plans all together and ends up trapping Star inside her wand. We also see the trouble that she has to go through just to escape her wand. And what makes this episode so great, it gives the feeling that this episode could be the season finale, but it's not. It's only the season beginning. And the moment that Star is brought back and gains new powers that we see throughout the entire season was awesome. Number 2, Bottom, Trial by Squire. At first, I was going to put this episode much lower on the list, but after watching it again, I thought, fuck it, I'm going to put it higher. Why? Let's start off with most of the people in this episode are assholes. Marco gets a little too competitive just for the sake of beating the other Squires. The Squires are assholes for the sake of the plot. Yes, I do understand that those Squires worked more harder than Marco, and the only reason why Marco's even a Squire at all is because he's friends with Star. But that doesn't mean the other Squires have to be jerks. Man, Brigitte would be disappointed in these Squires. Number 2, Top, Ludo, Where Art Thou? I was going to put this episode at number 1, but there was one episode that outranked it, but I'll talk about that when we get there. In this episode, Ludo's little brother Dennis tries his hardest to find Ludo. He finally finds Ludo, but he might be showing signs that he might be going crazy by making other versions of their parents and acting like them. But why do I like this episode so much? Well, it's because I kind of relate to Dennis. He was having trouble standing up to his parents when they were scalding Ludo. And after his awesome slam dunk, he gained the confidence to stand up for himself. But this episode does show signs that Ludo might be returning. Now, before I talk about my number 1 picks, here are my honorable mentions and dishonorable mentions. For honorable mention goes to Princess Turdina, and dishonorable mention goes to Booth Buddies. My number 1 pick for the worst episode in Star vs. Season 3 is, it's another mystery. What makes this episode outrank Trial by Squire? Well, let's start off with the fact that it feels like a giant middle finger to all Star's hard work. Not only that, but I feel like the writers wanted to go back to the status quo, having the monsters being enemies with the Mumins. Now, according to what Buffrog mentioned, the Mumins are afraid of him, but however, they did this off screen. Now, if they showed a clip of the Mumins still having issues with Buffrog living in the castle and still being afraid of him, then I'd be okay with it. But nope, they don't. I also feel like they're not even trying, and even with Tom's speech, it didn't work. And after all the hell that Star has been through, being attacked by Pigeon and fighting Mina and saying her efforts were for nothing was a giant fuck you to my face. After talking about the worst episode, now it's time for me to mention, in my opinion, the best episode in Season 3. And my number 1 best episode in Star vs. Season 3 is Conquer. Where do I begin on why I love this episode so much? Let's start off with the fact that the action was fucking awesome, the battle between Star and Meteor was epic, and seeing Eclipse coming to fight against her own daughter and the moment where she thought she killed her own daughter, you can feel for Eclipse, but it turned out she turned her into a baby. But what made me really love this episode was the moment that Star gave back Eclipse's wand. That was really noble of her. Star knew her family stole Eclipse's family wand, and by having Star give back the wand was really great character development, and officially making this my number 1 favorite episode in the entire Star vs. series. Thank you all for watching, and I hope you all enjoyed, and I hope to see you all in my next review.